Well, Gaffer, it's finished in a 2-1 defeat here today against Chelmsford. Do you think we deserved something more from that game?
Well, if you take the first 4 minutes out, we've completely dominated the game, haven't we? I mean, they can argue that they've the perfect away performance because they've hit us straight out the traps. We've switched off at a set play. We warned the players about that's what they do. You know, they pile the box, but then they go short to make an extra pass, suck you out, and they've gone and scored with the first entry into a box, and then for the second goal, I don't know how we didn't get given a foul on the edge of the box in the build-up to that. I've just looked at it again there. And then things are just going against us at the minute. So to find ourselves 2-0 down, we didn't panic because the game went on exactly how I thought it would. I thought we'd have a lot of possession. I thought we'd have a lot of opportunity, and we did. We've got to look at it. And whilst the forwards can moan that we've started at 2-0 down, what they've got to think is, did they make the right choices in that final third themselves? I think we've just had a chat there, and I've mentioned it on numerous occasions, but there's too many who think about me instead of we, and that's not the way I want my football teams to play. When you're in the hot zone as it is, and the choice is to you can score or you can definitely score by passing the ball to somebody in a better position than you, that's not sinking in with one or two of our lads, and it's frustrating me because we're opening up near enough every team we play, but we're not picking up enough points for the performances we're putting in. And with all due respect, what I have on the bench at the minute is young, and it's probably not ready.
And the frustration then, more about that lapse at the start or more about the failure to get those goals?
Bit of both, but like I said, it's not. You can't blame one end without blaming the other. I mean, I feel for the goalkeeper. He's come in, he's had to pick the ball out of his net twice in the first 4 minutes. Then he's made 2 really good saves later on in the game on the counter-attack. But I think he brought us an assuredness on the ball. We played from the way I want to play. Like I said, I mean, we've done everything in that game, bar winning it, and that's a habit that this group of players have got into, you know, way before I got here, and it's something we've got to very quickly get them out of it. And if we can't get it out, can't get this group of players out of that habit, we'll have to get different players.
We're at a stage now where the last couple of games we've had performances that look a lot more like what we want, but without getting those results. It's just that habit, right? But how do we instill that habit?
You've got to show belief in people. You've got to keep giving them an opportunity. I'm always, you know, I'm mindful of what I think one or two of the people in the group aren't up to the level, so that they'll have to change. It's as simple as that. And maybe it's not just their ability, it's their mindset, or it's the way they think about what they should do or what they can do, and whether they can do what I'm asking. Nobody's come and said to me that they're not comfortable with the way that I'm asking them to play. But look, I won't change, and the guy before me wouldn't have changed, I wouldn't have thought, but then it cost him his job, so it won't cost me mine.
Well, looking ahead then, we talk about those changes, potentially new personnel, obviously, but also something I've noticed is seeing players in different positions. Maybe we saw Harry step up into the 6, and we saw Maxwell at the back and the front, Tate's come into the back. Is that something else you're eager to try, moving people around the pitch?
I've seemed to have done that wherever I've been. I don't intentionally do it, but I just think sometimes I see a skill set in a player that I think can be used or utilised in different areas. Maxwell's a perfect example of that. I think he played every position for me at Aldershot, barring goal. So, you know, he's effective at this level at both ends of the pitch. I felt he stepped back seamlessly today, then went up front, but for one or two other people's selfishness, he would have scored a goal because he was in the right position on enough occasions. So, yeah, I mean, look, I'm really frustrated. I'm disappointed for them. I'm not disappointed with the vast majority of their output. Like you said, I think we can look at the last 3 games now. Since we drew that line in the sand after the Torquay game, which was unacceptable, I can't fault how we've played other than the errors that we've contributed to our own downfall, both at Dorking and here.
Well, just finally then, with a full week of preparation ahead of a trip away to Dover, with the time to prepare and maybe even potentially an incoming, you should be ready for that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think the preparation has been spot on again. I think the lads trained really well this week, and I was really excited for the game, to be honest with you. And it's not very often I finish on a Friday and think, you know what, they're in right in the place that we want them to be. We looked after them in terms of the build and the load that we put through them on Thursday and Friday, because there's a bit of illness. If you notice, Freddie Carter, Liam Searle and Quickie missed 3 days of training this week. So the group hasn't been big this week, but in fairness to them, they soldiered on. And they should be disappointed because we've lost a football match, but I think they've got to take more positives out of that performance again, and that's hard to do when you lose football matches as a footballer because it's all about winning, and we simply haven't done that.